Okay, day 183, the Awan brothers. Going to do a quick catch up today, just kind of now that I'm back to the slides. First of all, I'm not retiring from anything. I was just retiring from Sunday yesterday. Second of all, I wanted to just kind of recap where we were with Awan, Imran here. I want to keep going to RT because they can't keep blowing up Parliament every day that RT writes a story about this. It just can't happen. So I think everybody might remember the last time what happened, or turn off the lights in New York. So I think RT is the one to run with this since they're the ones that are being attacked. I think John Brennan is going to be the loose thread here. It's going to unwind Mr. McCabe here pretty quickly, and then the whole thing falls apart. What's great about the Dubai connection and the Abu Dhabi connection and getting away from Pakistan is all the connections, the money connections. This is where the other side of the drug business is coming in. This is going to be the Javeed side of the business. Looking at the Pakistani side was a little confusing. I mean, I should have been thought of Zero Footprint and Timber Sycamore coming out of UAE from the very beginning, and I just kind of gave Imran too much credit, and not looking at the fact that he was playing the role of the playboy and all these parties in UAE. I had talked to witnesses who knew this group of 36 to 40, however many it was. So I believe I've identified one of the members of the gang, if you will, of Pakistani 111, and I should have listened. The callous disregard for life, the parties, the cocaine, the girls, the fast cars, all that stuff. I should have listened to the source in Montreal and more. Anyway, I wanted to go back to Tom Glouser. He's going to be the key not only to the real estate investments, the Arab real estate investments through the hospitals to launder that money, but he's also going to be the key to the drug companies' investments. He used to work at Merck. So while he was at Reuters, he brought all these people in from the Middle East, or at least the investment advisors to the Middle East, tried to get them to buy into hospitals to launder the money. Talked about the different rat lines. I'm sure that the hospitals would bring all the related businesses around a hospital, like the pain clinic, the spine clinic, the knee clinic, the outpatient clinics, the imaging clinics, all the Christmas tree of businesses that come along with investing in the hospital. So what I wanted to say also is introduce Sheikh Zayed. He was the guy who had one of the Emirates. It was basically families that didn't get to be king of Saudi Arabia, and in Abu Dhabi. So he was one of the Emirates. Dubai has their own emirate. And Sheikh Zayed was the one who came up with the idea. In order to really get on the map of U.S. intelligence, let's organize and unite as these emirates, and we'll become UAE. So now you're going to see his sons. His sons are going to be the two key investors now. He's dead now, but his sons will be the two key investors through Glouser in laundering the drug money. Obviously, over here, you've got Ibrahim doing the nasty end of things, the dirty work, and then moving the money through UAE. So this is the part I love in the research, because then it focuses the research, and then the research just gets better and better, more and more citations. And once the model is put forward, once the working model becomes solidified and valid, then the research becomes even better. So it's this refining electron telescope that's kind of zooming in on the truth. The other great part about this is the Democrats want to keep this issue alive. They still want to have Imran Awan working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz doing the hacking. This is a current problem today as I speak, and it just draws more and more attention. The fact that his younger brother was paid, $160K a year at the age of 22 as a foreign national is a glaring problem. If nothing else, if we just stop right here, this is an election issue for a midterm election issue for all these Democrats here, and they just keep hitting their thumb with the hammer over and over, at least, or Tom Schiff's hitting their thumb. Now this nanoset technologies, again. There's more coming there. I won't ruin the fun. But we also have the more coming in on all the proprietaries they created and so forth. So the entity analysis, the people that are doing the link analysis, I want to thank you. That's coming. We just can't go there just yet. So again, the entity analysis and the linking with Nasir Khatak. He's the guy who had the car dealership directly next to the car dealership of the Awan brothers. literally right next to it. It's an obvious front. They changed the address patterns so people couldn't find it. It's so cheesy. But Mr. Cylindra, too, here with his Microtron company, he's going to be the key to a lot of the business investments, not the hospital investments, but more the business investments, the high-tech investments, bringing that money through Reuters and other overseas advisors into the U.S. and then laundering. So, whatever happened to Omar Awan? Haven't forgotten about him, but he completely moved out of his commuter home in Chatterley Loop in Manassas. He moved out of his Fredericksburg home where his kids were going to school. That's a big deal. That's the wife as well as the three kids. I think the three kids were all at Fredericksburg High School. So why the flight to New York? I believe he's working in the investment banking community now, which is kind of the bounce between New York and D.C., depending on where the heat is usually, the operative thing that's going on there. Schumer will hire you up there to get out of the heat, and then the heat's gone, then you go back to D.C. and do more hacking or whatever, or bring more people in. I just want to say on this EBT card thing, you're going to find this all over the country, the encouraging the people that are addicts to come in and fund or get 50 cents on the dollar for their EBT card. I'm not saying that that's for drugs. I'm saying that they take that and then go buy stuff for their convenience store. What I am saying, though, is that it is a network to recruit from. That's what I'm saying. It's more of the recruiting network for rat lines. And lastly, I didn't mean to leave Graham Fuller off the hook yesterday. He did do Gladio B. I'm not saying he's without sin. Yes, he did move 40 billion, help Gulen move 40 billion to Malaysia. Yes, Hillary did move 1.5 billion to Malaysia. I haven't forgotten about Detroit. I am going to go back to Detroit. There's more Dr. Horror stories in Detroit. Just don't have time right now. And then lastly, on the car dealership, this car dealership is going to be the same. This car dealership murder is going to be the same as Manassas Mahmood in Richmond. You're going to find a ISI guy hiring somebody like MS-13. In this case, I think it's going to be Somalis. You're going to see two Somali couples. One couple buys the BMW with the wife, the other with Trina. The other couple buys the Mercedes with Mike. It distracts everybody. They shoot the dog and Mike first. They shoot Trina later in the back. The girls go outside during the shooting. They cover each door. And then they go, the one couple takes the BMW down to 48th and Denison. That's where Stevenson's going to kill them. They're going to find the bodies eventually. Then the other couple is encouraged to drive to Erie for their payout, to go over the state line in Erie, Pennsylvania. That's where I think Stevenson kills the other couple. So unfortunately, these kids don't realize when they get hired into these murder for hire things that the ISI kills you at the end, the way dead men tell no tales. So I think you're going to find 4 there. So when Stevenson said he killed 13, I think it's going to be those 4, and I think he did 8 before. A year ago, down in southern Ohio, again with Somalis, with the 8 Roden killings, Rhoden. If the sheriff down there would release the information and the tips, and so forth, I could tell you whether it was MS-13 or if it was Hell's Angels or if it was Somalis. I believe it's going to be Somalis because that's in Columbus's territory, but we'll see. Anyway, I don't want to get into the John Kasich and his mother being from Yugoslavia and doing the organ harvesting and any of that. I don't want to get into the John Kasich stuff and how that happens under John Kasich's nose in Columbus. I just want to say that I do believe it is the Somali gangs. Again, these are kids that come in from a war-torn situation. They're 5 and 6 years old. They're forced to execute people. They've killed 20 people by the time they're 12. So they're perfect people to bring into the United States as operatives. Okay, that's it for this morning, and I'll boast a little bit later this afternoon.